All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So I feel like in some ways I might be offending the SOFI faithful by mixing it with HUBC and ICU. But hey, viewer requests are viewer requests, right? I'm not here to discriminate on like real stocks versus, silly stocks for lack of better terms, all right? But yeah, we're going to look at SOFI, HUBC, and ICU on this video. And man, SoFi. I'll be very honest. It's a little easier to see it on the MEM one, but SoFi was the very first thing I talked about this morning. Also HUBC, and then pretty much the last one as well, right? So, and then yeah, in this one, I mean, yeah, Jay had eyes on it. I know Doc had eyes on it. ICU is a big topic here. So between the two discords, there was actually a lot of eyes and discussion on these three tickers. All right, but SoFi, to me, like it's funny. Normally I say a doji, which is that candle, like when it's a small body and crazy lines. To me, these ones scream uncertainty. I will be honest with you. I think today's candle, though a very, very insignificant percentage, today was a very, very crazy candle on SoFi. Literally the exact same things. Again, it should be easier to see it on this one. Yeah, just crazy uncertainty. Like today was an interesting day. I'm excited to talk about SoFi actually. All right, a lot of great headlines. I see a lot of positive guidance outlook, like beautiful things. This is a weird candle. All right, from there, man, HUBC is getting very, very hard to ignore. I actually have no idea what it's doing after hours. I probably should look at that, but we'll do that live together here. And then ICU is another one. Again, lots of eyes, lots of potential there. ICU has a big moving average coming up. But before we go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad. Look, anything you can do helps me so much with these YouTube algorithms, but for real, just being here, giving me the time to communicate oh man, just thank you for everything. All right, so let's get into it. And SoFi. So obviously the big thing was earnings. All right, SoFi released earnings early this morning. I mean, I think the candle alone speaks volume because we go from closing at 687 down here on Friday to opening. All right, you can see it in the box over there. We open at 760. All right, one more time. Close all the way down here on Friday. Monster gap up this morning. All right, a lot of the reason for that gap up were some really strong headlines. Okay, and if you watch my videos, you'll hear me say I care less about what I think and what regular educated people, right? Like, I'm not a dumb person. I read the headlines. I understood why the gap up happened. I understood why it was pushing, right? But it's all about what the market thinks. And man, to believe we were going to close all the way down here at under 7 at 690 and change, crazy. Completely crazy. I'm not even here pretending I expected that. All right. That said, I think this is a really perfect summation of why I always say, look, the headlines don't matter. It doesn't matter what or how you read it, how you interpret. What matters is what the market says. And yeah, there was a good big volume and it's green because yes, technically we closed down here and then closed down here. Like that's an up for sure. Today was a wild day because again, let's just even take it to the 15-minute chart, all right? You can see it Friday, 4 p.m. down here. all of a sudden, 9 a.m., we're here, and in that first 15 minutes, we fly, right? Then all of a sudden, like, let's even go to the minute. Let's literally go to the minute and see it, okay? Like, look at this, right? Like, from down here to fly, and then the next few minutes just kept running and running and running and running. And yeah, look at that RSI. It literally pushes to 95, right? And yeah, sadly, none of the moving averages could hold and blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not going to go over the minute chart, right? But that was because everyone saw the same headlines that I saw. Everyone listened to them and read them like rational humans. Positive outlook for next year. The first actual indication that profits might be coming. Can you understand how bullish of a sentence that is? But like, again, that's let's see it happen kind of thing, right? So I'm less here to talk about the headlines and stuff and more to just say, look, as promising as it looked, we couldn't get back over a single moving average. All right, we are below all five, and you know, I think today was a little optimistic, hopefully, but end of the day, I think this is a very dangerous stock to touch under 730, right? Under the 200 moving average is a dangerous place to be in my book, all right? If we can get over that, yeah, maybe that's worth riding all the way to there. And then look, that's going to be another place. I am not exactly sure if we'll get over that 20 moving average, right? The one thing to look at is NASDAQ, all right? NASDAQ slipped under the 200, right? You can see it happen over the week. Maybe it tries to get back a little over, and like my expectation is something along the lines of this 100 moving average, right? We kind of had this like little fake thing here, then we slip under it, then we go back to it, then we end up losing it, right? We've now kind of lost it. I'm not sure if we're going to just like oscillate here a little. There's a back and forth that we're having on the Discord. And again, this is why I think disagreement's a beautiful thing, right? But like literally, I had said moments ago, I do agree, and this I do agree was to picking up invert. Like, he doesn't think that this is good market. Mr. Onion disagrees, and you know what? So does, like, he literally put a video about the market crash being over and the bottom being here, right? So like, I often say listen to other videos, and I think letting people put it on my Discord is an honest way of showing I do believe that, right? But yeah, there's some mixed opinions about what's about to happen. I don't know why I was scrolling there so much. Sorry about that. What's about to happen in NASDAQ, okay? I'm seeing a fake recovery and a fall, you know, and I think kind of the same thing with the SPX, right? The S&P 500. We've slipped below it. I think we might be coming back here. Don't get me wrong, maybe, but I think all we're going to do is something like this and then fall. Like, I think we're going to go below. I think we're going to come back up, and then I think we're going to keep going down. You know what I mean? And SOFI is a real stock, all right? And I say that with love for every other, you know, I want to say dumb ticker because that's offensive, right? But SOFI is SOFI has a shot at becoming a real thing in X number of years, right? Like, I'm not someone that talks about long very much, but I do believe that the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ will greatly influence this, all right? One of the things I was talking about, and I know because I literally just made the video over the weekend, but like, let's look at the SPX real quick, all right? From the 5th to the 18th, this thing goes horizontal, goes down, a little recovery, goes down, all right? Let's take a look at SOFI. From the 5th to the 18th, it goes horizontal, then it goes down, then it comes back up, then it goes back down. Does that not sound familiar? Let's take a look at NASDAQ really quickly, all right? We go horizontal, we come back down, we go back up. On the 16th, we come back down. Let's take a look at SOFI again really quickly. We go horizontal, we go back down, we come back up. On the 16th, we come back down. Does that not sound familiar? Okay, I think, again, I see a little bit of market recovery. I do not think the worst is over for any of this, all right? So it's sad because there were some beautiful earnings that came from this. I think it's going to get lost in the overall market condition. Hopefully 3 months from now, when we are doing the next earnings, SoFi can deliver on the guidance. And again, we'll see what market conditions look like then, right? But yeah, I'm seeing good news in bad times and bad times winning. That's my honest opinion of SoFi here. So I'm not going to look at the weekly. I'm not, because again, I think like the moral of the story, like normally I'd be talking about the 50 moving average, catching it and stuff like, no, what I sincerely believe is this stock is a real stock. It's not the NVOS, the TTOOs, the FNGRs that I'm covering, right? Like, this is dependent on the indices around it. And despite the beautifulness that was dropped this morning on the earnings, there's only so much that you can do in a bad market. That's the truth of it, all right? And while you see other silly things go up on other silly stocks, man, the two I'm about to cover after this, in all honesty, like, that's what happens when you're trading a real stock versus a silly stock, right? And those are my opinions right there, right? But let me know yours. Obviously, you know I love hearing from people, all right? Again, I'm barely talking about MACD, RSI, and volume, right? I think it's less about the charts right now, more about the majors and what comes of that, all right? So let me know your thoughts and opinions, please, all right? Let's take a look at HUBC. Where is HUBC? Beautiful. It's holding. Hell yeah. Okay, cool. I say hell yeah because, yeah, I'm not going to lie. I am in this one right now, all right? So what's been happening here? Look, something that I talked about on the last video was the ability to make the uptrend a steeper and steeper slope. Like, I don't know the math there, right? But that had a slope and now it's getting even higher up, right? And I will be honest with you, as you zoom out and look at where we're at, all I'm really seeing is red, 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 right? Like, my line's at 144. I'm going to delete this one, but that right here is the next real green point, right? And I think I rounded up, but I actually like that 15 number. What was the actual open on this one? 113. I think I'll leave 115. And I think I'm actually going to leave that line. Let's leave that line. But there is not a lot right now stopping us from that 115 line. All right. We actually have a MACD that is now making a nicer divergence. We now have a decent divergence on RSI. And today, look, this is one of the things I've been talking about. Aside from this outlier, right? Like, we've been close to breaking the 50 moving average day. And all we really needed was just a good little candle that went over it to push it, right? And even the bad days, even the days that were under it, hey, we were at least holding. And today we get over the line by relatively a little bit. And we bring a decent, I mean, decent's an understatement, right? But we bring a nice double digit, right? If today can be the first of the next couple, I mean, I'm telling you, it's hard to not see it want to get into this, all right? Will it break the 200 moving average? Will it get back to the SPAC days of the $10 line? Like, look, I think you are far too greedy, and I say that with love, if you're thinking way, way, way up here at $2, $3, $4. Like, no, man, it's an 80-cent stock, slow and steady, baby. For now, the goal, let's actually start filling this gap. Because that's one thing I talk about on a number of videos. Like, you would expect this little insignificant line to break, but couldn't do it here, couldn't do it here, couldn't do it here. Like 3 days right there, couldn't do it here, couldn't finally, right? Like, it's not easy to break what I call these gap fill borders, right? Like, that's a bad little fall gap down. We now want to gap back up, right? So I like that we got over the line. I like that we got back over the trend line. I am actually hoping that the next slope, and look, I'm making this line up, right? Like, I am not trying to imply this is going to happen, but that's kind of what I'm looking for, right? Like, even that. Yeah, I think it's kind of happened. Yeah, but like, that's kind of what I'm looking for. Like, next candle starts right here and then goes, or like starts right, like, you get it, right? But the steeper and steeper, the better. Obviously, look, at some point it's going to run a little too high, and man, I don't want to talk about this one because this was around the SPAC time, and I think it doesn't count. even this one, I don't think counts. So let's look in here. Okay, how high were you? This was a 78. How high were you? 76. How high were you? 81. I don't think the RSI will get much higher than 83, 84. I think 89 is pushing it. Yeah, I think 84 might be our number. But again, we're still sub 70, right? So there's still a little bit of room for this to go, right? So again, I don't know if we're going to break this 115 or 144. I actually said in the Discord, I know I said it. One sec. Where was it? Give me a sec. Sorry. Getting hard to ignore. I'm so sorry. Damn, I couldn't find it. It happens. Sorry. But my thought was wicking $1. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing wicks $1, and like adding another 20 cents on 80 cents is a beautiful, beautiful percentage, right? So I think there's still a lot to like on HUBC. Obviously, there's some connections to the war in the Middle East, right? So can't imagine that's going to end anytime soon, just given all the horrible headlines that we're seeing. I mean, literally daily, right? And yeah, it's sad to profit on bad things, but again, we're not here to talk about like morals and stuff, right? We're here talking about charts and stuff, and yeah, it's the dirtier side of this game that we're in, right? So HUBC, a lot to like on the daily, not too much to talk about on the weekly, right? Because again, even in the same window, it's actually still red, 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 green, 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 green. Like, and even on the weekly, there's barely anything on either lines. The weekly is kind of putting a line at 164. And yeah, this is still relatively low. This is trying to get to the positive. Will it? I don't know. Because again, you can see it's barely been able to. But yeah, let's just slow and steady. I know 22% doesn't look like it, but yeah, just chugging along. That's all this thing is doing. All right. So let me know your thoughts and opinions. Otherwise, let's come to ICU. So ICU is another one where, look, this thing is just chugging along, all right? I feel like this one's had a little bit more of a drastic drop when compared to HUBC. Like, I guess now that I take that back, not really, actually. This one was definitely a bad one, maybe since the other ones, right? But yeah, ICU, though it's been doing a little bit more of a bouncing game, all it's really doing is bouncing up, 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 right? And man, one of the best things that this thing did was not lose that 100 moving average, because it breaks it, doesn't really confirm, makes some moves, but really doesn't confirm, right? Because yeah, it gets over that, tries to get over that, can't confirm it, comes back, and then finally is able to go and go, right? So beautiful that was actually able to hold, right? And yeah, 8 still going up, 20 still going up, took a while, but the 50 is now starting to go up. Like these are really good signs, right? We're above the 8 moving average, we're above the 20, we're above the trend line. Looks like the 50 is going to want to do a golden cross, right? When a small one goes above a big one, it looks like the 50 is going to want to golden cross that, right? Like we saw one there, we saw one there, we saw one there, right? 8 over 100, 20 over 50, 20 over 100, right? So this thing is moving, and again, we've pretty much made our way to here. Now, normally I never make a line on a green candle. I mean, on red candles. They're only on green candles. All right. You'll see on the weekly that was that was an exception on this one, because yeah, that was 50% of that guy right there. I think in some ways you can make an argument that we're basically at the gap fill border right now, and this line is essentially what stopped this thing, and it's basically what stopped today. So I don't know. I don't think I want to lower the line, right? But yeah, essentially that right there was I think stronger than I was expecting it to be, and mainly it's because it's a red candle. I normally don't care about those things, but yeah, looking at where we're at, I mean, we basically went all the way up, right? We went from down here, making our way to the 200, and the question is going to be, can we break the 200 moving average, right? Like, this is the last one for a reason. It's never an easy one, right? But if we can do it, oh man, right? Because after that 200, we're basically talking about there. Oh man, Jesus. Dude, get out of here. Okay. there and like maybe there, right? So and let's be real, right? Like I don't know the math behind this line, but it's definitely coming down every day, every day. I can't zoom in more because we're gonna lose it, but it really seems like by what, Wednesday at the latest, maybe by like this day, whatever day that ends, Thursday. They're calling this Thursday. I think by Thursday at the very latest, maybe even Wednesday, this 200 moving average is basically going to be at this 131 line. You know what I mean? So I think I'm going to delete this line. I don't think I need it because, yeah, I think I'm kind of talking myself into it. At this point, it's get over the 200 and fly, or you got to be careful because you can hit this line and get rejected pretty bad, right? But we do have a positive MACD. We actually have a very healthy RSI, and man, we were as high as 81 here, 85, 86, 87. Like this thing's comfortable in the 80s. So there is some room to make some moves here, all right? It's very much at a key line. I will say that, and we'll see what happens. But oh man, yeah, if that line can break, there's not a lot. This is going to be a little bit of heaviness, and maybe there's another line to draw at that like 217. I think that 190 to 220 range might be a little bit noisy, but yeah, I think if it can get through this. Man, yeah, ICU. This thing obviously had some good news. This thing got some FDA approvals that the market does seem to like. And yeah, there's some real nice things happening here. Let's look at the weekly. I know we did recently. And yeah, I mean, look, we are in a red to green, right? So still a decently healthy number. Ooh, this is actually the highest our RSI. I'm zooming in to get rid of the pre-split move, like not pre, like the D-SPAC move right there. This is the highest we've been, actually. Let's see. I think we can still go. Man, getting to 187 might double. And look, it's literally right on the 50 line right here. Where did 187 come from? This little line right there. Oh, man. Ooh, yeah, there's some interesting things to like on this one as well. Sorry, I'm just kind of getting lost in some thoughts in my head. Hey, let me know your thoughts for sure. Otherwise, as always, you know it. Thank you.